Greetings, people who really love the accordion. This might be my last five-finger video because you can take it from here and develop it on your own. You can master it on your own if you take the principles I've given you and the tools and work on it. You'll be able to get it if you just think it through and work it out. As the superb guitarist Tommy Emmanuel says, you just have to work it out. So, if this is my last five-finger song, then we'll do this one here, Vie En Rose, because a lot of people like to play this on the accordion, and it really sounds like it was made for the accordion. If ever there was a song made for the accordion, it would be this one. So here are the chords for the intro and the ending. The ending is just a glorified intro. And then they call this little bitty piece here verse. They call that the verse. Actually, I consider the whole thing as one elaborate intro, but they call this next piece the verse. So we'll call it that. So now we'll work on the intro. I'll show you the chords. And we'll take it from there. So I start out with a B counterbass and a G7 button, or you could just do the G bass and the G7 button if you want to, but I throw that B in. Then the next chord's C major, you know that, C major. Next is a C sharp diminished 7, and I play that with the C sharp counterbass and the E diminished 7 button, chord button. Then you go to D minor, you know that. I actually play a D minor 7 here. That's a D bass and an F major chord button. But you can use this D minor, that you know that. Or you can use the D minor 7, which is a D bass and the F major button, chord button. Then you end up with the G7 in traditional position. So we'll show it again. And again. And with the melody it would sound like this. You have to excuse my right hand, because remember my right hand's pretty crappy, so. That's what they call the intro. Now the verse is this short little thing. They call it the verse. It's not long. So let's look at those chords. I use the C major, A7, and because it's easier for me, I use the A bass and the E7 diminished chord button. You can see that there. And D minor 7, even though the paper says D minor, I use the D bass and the F major chord button. See that? And G7 in traditional. Then C major. D minor. That A7 again with the A bass and the E diminished 7 chord button. Or you can play traditional if you want to swing your hand up like that. You have to swing it up like that. And then you have D minor. And then G7 traditional. Do it again, starting with C major. I'll do it one more time. C, A7, D minor 7, G7, C, C major, G minor, A7, D minor 7, G7. And it would sound like this. That's the simplified version. Again. Now they call that piece the verse. So we'll call it that. Then we get to the really good stuff, all right, which they call, the original people who wrote it, call these two sections basically chorus, the first part, chorus the second, or chorus part A, chorus part B. I'll hold this up for a little bit in case you want to print screen or pause the video. These are the chords I use. And not just because I use five-finger system, but because of this. Here's what I don't like. If you listen to this song on the internet, there's some crappy versions and there's some beautiful versions. But one thing I noticed with some of the crappier versions is you have this mindless repetition of the C major and then the D minor. Like this. Watch this. Etc., etc. Do you hear that? It's just a... But just goes on and on. It's mindless repetition of the C and then the D minor. So I don't care for that because I'm not a very good accordion player. So if I can throw stuff in with the left hand, then I can sound like a better accordion player than I really am. And you can do that too. So these are the helpful hints. So let me go over chorus part A. Alright, so it doesn't take 12 years to get this video done. Chorus, I call it part A. It's actually more like a verse, but who cares? So I do the C major, then the B counterbass with the C major chord button, A counterbass with the C major chord button, then the E counterbass with the C major chord button, then the E flat bass button, E flat bass button with the A diminished 7 chord button. That's the A diminished 7 chord button. Let me go over that again. Okay, then that takes you to the D minor. I use the D minor 7, D bass, F major chord button. Then G7 traditional. Okay, I just showed you the top line on here, and I'm going to show it to you again. This is pretty much the heart of the matter. To get some sweetness in there without that mindless repetition of the C and the D minor. We're working on making it a little bit sweeter, okay? So watch. Oh, I wanted to tell you also, whenever you see my chord charts on these videos, that's a point. People say dot, but it's actually not. It's a point. When you see a point in between the brackets, that means the chord is held for yet another beat. It's played for another beat. When you see a dot within the bracket, it means that previous chord is held for yet another beat. All right? Let's do that top line again with a little bit of melody. And again. See, that was the top line. It excuses right hand because it has a mind of its own, and God knows what it's going to do. You can never tell. So the next line then the next line, this one here, instead of that mindless repetition of D minor, we're going to spice it up a little bit. D minor, C sharp counterbass with D minor chord button, C bass with D minor chord button, B counterbass with G7 chord button, then D minor or D minor 7, that's the D bass and F major chord button, G7 traditional, C major, then C sharp diminished 7, which means C sharp counterbass, E diminished 7 chord button, D minor 7, that's a D bass, F major chord button, G7 traditional. Now watch it again, starting with D minor. And again. See how nice I did? Now let's throw the melody in. And once again, you have to excuse the boo-boos. My right hand sucks. So we would have... Oops. Okay, that's that chorus, part A, and like I said, another performer. Some days I can't play to save my life, and obviously this is one of them. Chorus, part B. Okay, this is a little bit different, just a little bit. So we'll go over that, and then pretty soon you'll be able to play this better than I do, which isn't saying much. But so we have the chorus, part B, second part, C major, B major with the C major chord, B counterbass with the C major chord button, A counterbass, C major chord button. Then I put the D bass with the C7 chord button. Then F major. Then D minor 7, which is a D bass, F major chord button. Then D minor 7 with the diminished fifth, which would be the D bass with the F minor chord button. C major. B counterbass with that C major chord button. Then you jump down here to the E flat diminished 7, played in the traditional position. Then D minor 7, only the D counterbass instead of the D bass with the F major chord button. Then G counterbass, 5-finger, C, thumb. Then C major, B counterbass with C major chord button, A counterbass with C major chord button, and that D minor 7, G7 traditional, and C. Now let me just play the chords. Chorus part B. Now I'll play it with the melody. I'll try. more time. Then for the ending, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. I do this because I'm kind of an idiot. I just play the intro, only I spice it up a little bit. I just spice it up for the ending. And I'll show you how I do it. I just do the intro. This is the ending, but it sounds like the intro. Again. That's a D minor chord, D minor 7 chord, and I switch to the D minor 7 with the diminished fifth chord. And if you want to throw this cute little ending in, this is really sweet. I like it. I go. It's a C major chord, B counterbass with the C major button, A counterbass with the C major button, A flat bass with the C major button, C major, excuse me, wait. It's just a little progression, a half-step progression. Okay, I apologize because my right hand isn't working well, and I didn't even mention this in any of my videos, but I have arthritis and my fingers are getting a little funky, so it's just harder and harder. Anyway, so I think that's it for Five-Finger, and for those squeamish types, no animals were harmed during any of my videos. No animals were harmed during the filming of any of my videos. And just in case no one watched my previous videos, just in case they stumbled onto this, I want to once again thank Anna. This is her YouTube channel. She's a beautiful young lady from Germany, and she inspired me to buy this, my buddy, my little Atlas buddy. She inspired me in 2011 after not having had an accordion for 38 years. Anna was so wonderful that I went out and bought an accordion. And I want to thank Gennady Lazarov. This man here probably knows more about the accordion than anybody in America. I would bet my life on that. This wonderful guy answered all my emails succinctly and promptly, and he gave me 15 to 20 minutes on the phone for phone time when I had questions. When I was working on my Stradella reed recognition system, which you'll see in previous videos, he gave me his time, and this is his store, the Accordion Gallery. I cannot afford any of his accordions because I'm a pauper, but I would buy from Gennady if I had the money. He's a wonderful guy. And also, the man who inspired me to make any videos has a YouTube channel, David Lang. A great, great guy. Answered all my emails. He sent me gifts in the mail. Great guy. And his videos inspired me to do this. So, if I come back, I might come back and talk about my scale system that I invented and my chord system. But the videos will have a different heading. So, if you're interested, I'll leave a couple comments in a couple videos. And if I don't see you again, then good luck with that Five-Finger stuff. And if I do see you, if you're silly enough to come back, then we'll have some fun. In fact, I have some fun songs to play that are just really fun to play. I wrote well over 100 songs, and some of them are just downright happy. So that's it. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching, and be nice to each other.